Justin Trudeau's resignation as Liberal Party leader and Prime Minister last week ushered in a new wave of uncertainty for the Canadian economy. With Mr. Trudeau stepping aside and proroguing Parliament ahead of a likely spring or early summer election, numerous economic policies are stuck in limbo. Canada's economic policy uncertainty has surged to the highest in decades, excluding May 2020, the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, and is significantly higher than during the 2007 to 2008 global financial crisis. I'm now joined by Brendan Caldwell, director of Caldwell Securities Limited, to unpack this further. Brendan, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Theresa. There's a lot to unpack, and I want to assure you that my blue glasses are not meant to be as partisan as they may seem. Whatever it appears on TV, my tie and my handkerchief is purple, so it's very neutral between red and blue.
All right. So last week, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stated his intent to resign after a new leader of his Liberal Party is chosen. Now, what impact will this have on Canada's economy as we move into 2025?
Well, it's hard to say. The government shouldn't have too big an impact on the economy, which is the first thing. The fact if the government is impacting the economy, it's probably not all well. Uh, Now, people say he's resigned. We took out an ad in the major papers last week, which people said, "Why are you taking out that ad? He's already resigned." He is not. The ad quotes the person who stood up for Parliament and to Parliament, Oliver Cromwell, who said of a Parliament that had done nothing for so long, I quote, "You have sat too long here for any good you maybe have been doing. Depart, I say, and let us have done with you. In the name of God, go." And he hasn't actually gone, Trudeau. He's still Prime Minister. What he has done is he's put a padlock on Parliament and any sort of parliamentary oversight that the Prime Minister's office might have been subject to. So it's not so much that he has an impact on the economy, but given that the new president of the United States, the once and future president of the United States, is being sworn in, next week, it would be really good to have Canada in stable hands, anybody's hands, but stable hands, rather than this interregnum period, this time in between.
Now, in his announcement, Justin Trudeau stated he's going to prorogue Parliament until March. What are the repercussions of him doing this?
Well, as I think I alluded to earlier, the Parliament does provide oversight. That is supposed to be the ultimate governing body of the land, not in fact the Prime Minister's office. So far from his own resignation, he's actually told everybody else, all the 300 other some MPs and however many senators there are, to go home. We don't need you until the end of March, until we get our own stuff sorted out. So in theory, there will be a new Liberal leader. In theory, there will be an election. I think you in your intro you said spring or summer. I bet my MP. He didn't take me up on it, but I was willing to bet my MP lunch that there wouldn't be an election till the autumn, and I was willing to bet him lunch and dinner that there wouldn't be an election until at the very earliest the summer, because I think Trudeau and the Liberal Party probably have one more trick, one more move left in them.
Now, you mentioned the presidential inauguration, but what effects might Mr. Trudeau's resignation and a new prime minister have on the value of the Canadian dollar or trade agreements, especially with the US as a new president is coming in?
Well, I think for a bunch of reasons, we need a new prime minister. One of them, and not even the top one, is that he clearly does not get along with the new president of the United States. And one of the prime minister's top jobs is to get along with the president of the United States. It doesn't have to be Mulrooney and Reagan singing Irish Eyes Are Smiling, but there does need to be a good working relationship. At least Clinton and Chrétien, or I'd even take Chrétien and Bush too. Just some sort of work, but there is no working relationship between them. So I think that it will be better to have another leader there. But in the meantime, the U.S. has threatened 25% across the board tariffs and even toyed with the idea of annexing Canada. That simply won't happen, certainly not in a Republican presidency, because if they took over the 40 million or so Canadians, they'd probably end up with 30 million Democrats and 10 million Republicans. The math just doesn't work.
Well, Brendan, as always, thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you, and I'll wear the red glasses for next week.
Thank you.